Hi, good afternoon. I'm Chief Terry Monahan, Chief of Department, and I'm joined by Deputy Chief Kevin Maloney, Commanding Officer of the Force Investigation Division. The information I'm about to provide regarding last night's officer-involved firearms discharge is preliminary, as the investigation is still ongoing. I want to begin with a little context. Prior to our firearms discharge incident, the fire department responded to the same location, 1616 Grand Avenue, 4th floor in the Bronx, at approximately 10:50 p.m. to assist a tenant who called claiming his front door was locked and his apartment was on fire. FDNY forced the door open and determined the apartment was not on fire, then they left the location. At about the same time, the NYPD received two 911 calls regarding the same tenant, who was reportedly threatening neighbors and banging on doors with a large stick. That's a large stick you saw up on the screen a few minutes ago. At approximately 11 p.m., two uniformed police officers from the 4-6 precinct arrived at the 6-story residential building and were escorted by the super to that same subject's apartment on the 4th floor. The officer was wearing a body-worn camera, and it was activated for the incident. I viewed this footage last night at the scene, and I can tell you that upon knocking on the now unsecured door, it opened, allowing the officers to observe the subject standing a few feet away. The subject was holding a large kitchen knife, which is pictured up here, in one hand, and what appeared to be a full-size broom handle wrapped in black tape in the other hand. The uniformed officers gave numerous commands to drop the weapons. When the subject did not comply, one officer deployed his taser, striking the subject, causing him to fall to the ground inside the apartment. As the officers moved inside the apartment to disarm the suspect and take him into custody, he suddenly jumped to his feet and charged at the officers from a short distance after grabbing, again, the knife and the broom handle. The officers exited the apartment, but the subject was still advancing quickly towards them. At that point, one of the officers discharged his service weapon 4 times at the direction of the suspect, striking him in the chest. The officers immediately requested an ambulance to respond to location. The suspect was transported to Bronx Lebanon Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 11:46 p.m. The officers were not injured during the incident and were taken to an area hospital for observation, where they were later released. We will continue to share new information from this ongoing investigation as it becomes available. And I'll take any questions you have in the back.
What can you tell us about this man that was killed? Was it a call for an emotionally disturbed person? Any age or?
It was not a call for an emotionally disturbed person. It was a call for a person causing a disturbance in the building, banging on the super's door with a large stick, threatening the security and threatening other members in the building with this stick.
This was a shelter?
It's a building that serves the how's that word go? Services for the underserved. So it could be a whole different group of people can be in there. It could be people with substance abuse problems, homeless problems, HIV, and/or mental illness. Right there. Yes, he is. He called for FDNY. It appears that he wanted to get back into his apartment. So he had FDNY open his door. Yes.
I just want to be clear, have you dealt with him in prior instances, either as an EDP or as a suspect in a crime? And can you say whether both officers, or how many officers responded, and if all of them had their body cameras on?
Sure. All right. We have no documented emotionally disturbed for this individual. So we've never had a documentation of him having any emotional disturbed problems. We have responded in the past, complaints of harassment that the super has filed against him. He was arrested in the building back in January for breaking a window on the 4th floor. One officer, the discharging officer, had his body-worn camera on him. The other officer did not have his body-worn camera on, and that's all part of our investigation.
And was it the same officer who fired the taser who also discharged his weapon?
Yes, it was. Same officer fired both the taser and the firearm.
Have you seen the body camera footage?
Yes, I have.
And it shows that what you described, him jumping back up, grabbing the broom handle, etc.?
Yes, jumping up, screaming, and charging at the officers as the officers are backing out of the apartment. backing out of the apartment into the hallway. Rocco.
Could you explain how this played out in terms of actual time? How many seconds, et cetera?
It was approximately 1 minute and 9 seconds. They're at conversation with him in the hallway. At that point, when they discharge a taser, to the point of firearms discharge is approximately 10 seconds.
And do both officers have CIT training, and is it clear why the other one was not wearing his camera?
Both officers have CIT training. The other officer docked his camera before leaving the station house and did not take it back out. I mean, that'll be part of our investigation, is why he didn't take it back out.
Are you going to be able to release any of the body cam footage? And do you have any knowledge?
We will be in consultation with Darcel Clark in the Bronx District Attorney's Office. The commissioner will have that conversation, and then he'll make that final determination of when and if we're going to release.
Chief, is there a question about the effectiveness of the taser in this case?
The taser hit him, he went down. But once you stop hitting the charge on the taser, the possibility of jumping back up, it can happen. So that's what happened. He charged, he went down flat. Once the charge is released, he jumped immediately back up.
The only criminal complaints against him, or the only criminal history that he had was this complaint from the super and having him broken the window.
That was the one back in January, and then harassment, a couple of harassment complaints that the super filed against him, I believe back in May of last year. That's the other criminal history that we have with him at this location. He has other criminal history. Yeah.
Chief, is it clear why he's there? What is he suffering from?
Again, I can't go into. That's you know, that HIPAA laws involved that.
Chief, can you describe what area of the apartment or room he was hit in, and
Just single room.
can you clarify whether the officer who discharged his firearm is the same one who had his camera on?
Yes, it's a single room occupancy, so it's just a one studio apartment. He's right in the hallway at the door when he gets hit, and the officer who fired his gun is the officer that had the body worn camera on.
Can you say anything about their ranks or time on the service?
We can get you that on background.
Would you consider it, is it too early to say if it's justified or not?
It appears to be justified. They're coming at him. This guy's charging at him with a knife in one hand, a stick in the other, screaming at them in a confined space. Again, I say this quite often. Officers have to make a decision in a matter of seconds, and that's what happened here. It escalated very quickly.